And yeah, let's just try this and see how it goes. Okay, so finding a comfortable seat to begin with. Resting your hands down to your knees and closing your eyes. Just give yourself a moment to settle into this new, unusual space. And allow yourself the freedom to experience something new today. Opening yourself to feel discomfort, to feel that there's a change, but to not let those feelings become overwhelming.
Georgia, it's going, but I can't hear.
Placing one hand to the lower belly, one hand to the upper chest. And as you breathe from the base of the tummy all the way up to the chest, feel that full expansion. Exhaling from the chest all the way back down to the base of the tummy. Breathing in belly, ribs, chest, chest, ribs, and belly. Taking one more full round of breath. And at the end of your next exhale, lowering chin to chest and releasing the hands to the knees. Allow your head to become a little bit heavier, dropping the chin down as you slide the shoulders away from the ears.
Not that one. Never that one.
Bringing right ear to right shoulder. And slightly turn the chin down. Slightly lift the chin up. And then find where you're getting your best stretch between those 2 points. Placing the right hand lightly onto the side of the skull. And then reaching the left hand to float just off of the mat. Draw the shoulder blade back and down. Release the hands to the knee, lifting the head up to center. Exhale, lowering left ear to left shoulder. And then again, turning the chin slightly down. Lifting the chin slightly up. And then placing the left hand onto the side of the skull when you've found the space for your best stretch. And reaching the opposite fingers away. Deeply breathing into that lateral stretch of the neck. Release the hands to the knee, drawing the head back up to center. On the inhale, float your arms up towards the sky, lifting from the crown to the tailbone. Engage all the muscles in between to elongate the torso high. As you exhale, twist to the right. Right hand lightly behind the back, lift up tall, and then exhale to twist a little bit deeper on the exhale.
Get out. You have 10 seconds to lift.
Inhale, reaching the arms back up to the sky. And exhale, twisting to the other side.
Go on our way.
On the inhale breath, float the arms up. And then exhale, placing the hands down in front of you as you lower elbows to the floor. Dropping head, neck and shoulders as you melt down into the mat. You can create an undulation of the spine, inhale, and soften a bit further on the exhale. On your inhale breath, rolling the spine back up to sit. Let's come over onto hands and knees in an all-four position. Spreading the fingers wide, bringing the knees underneath the hips. Open the fingers towards the edge of the mat. You're going to start by taking your right leg back, tucking the toes and pressing into the heel. Working now into a gentle ankle, calf and hamstring stretch. Should you need a little bit more stretch, you can bring the hands a little bit further forward and create a bit more weight into those hands to help push the heel back. Just a reminder to please turn your mics off. On your inhale breath, you're going to come back to the center, bring the hands under the shoulders if you had moved them, and then float the leg up and just pulse the leg a few times here. Keep the hips square, keep the toes pointing at the mat, and lift into the lower belly so that your lower back is not arching here. On the exhale, let's draw the knee to the face, face to the knee. Inhale, extend the leg back. Exhale, the knee to the upper right arm. Inhale, back, and exhale to the upper left arm. Inhale, back. Exhale to lower the knee to the mat. On the inhale breath, you're going to take your left foot behind you and push into the heel. Square the hips, lift the abdomen. Maybe bring the hands a little bit further forward should you need a bit more intensity. And then releasing to the center again, hands under the shoulders and float the leg up. Keep your hips square, keep the toes pointing down, lift into the lower belly and a little gentle pulse. Feel how the back of the thigh is going to warm up here. And then on the next exhale, let's bring the knee to the face, face to knee. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to outer left elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale to outer right elbow. And inhale, extend. Exhale the knee down. Tuck your toes and then lift the knees off the mat. Tuck your tailbone and work into the tummy muscles here. Push the floor away using the hands. Take another few breaths. And then lift up and straighten, downward facing dog. Let's spend a few moments in down dog, just softening through the tight muscles. Heel, toe, heel, toe. Start working your chest closer and closer towards the thighs. And lift right up onto the tips of the toe, maybe getting a few ankle cracks. And then sinking the heels down and a little twist of the hips from side to side. If you have very tight hamstrings, you might feel this along the back of the knee as you work into the side of the hips. On the inhale breath, you can roll yourself forward into a plank pose, rounding the back, and then lifting from the core, coming back into a downward facing dog. Let's walk the hands to the toes. Soften your knees, holding onto opposite elbows, and completely relaxing here into your ragdoll. Gonna hold ragdoll for a few breaths. Maybe you want to take some movement, gently swaying from side to side. Maybe you want to do little undulating pulses. Maybe you want to shake the head out. Or maybe you want to hold into stillness. Absolutely anything is fine. Connect deeply to your breath. And then let's slowly roll up by bending the knees deeply, pressing heavily into the heels. Lift from the shoulders as though you had a coat hanger across the back of the shoulders. The face is the last thing to lift. Let's walk to the front of the mat, standing into Tadasana. Checking that your feet are hip distance parallel, hands elongated next to the hips. Lift up through the spine so you can feel yourself growing tall. Let's find the Ujjayi breath. Find your bandhas. On the inhale, float the arms up to the sky. Tadahastasana. Exhale to forward fold, opening the body wide, hands behind the ankles, lifting the hips and sinking the head low. On the inhale breath, floating up halfway into a flat back. Push the hands firmly against the shin bones and float on the front of your feet, heels light. Let's exhale to bring the hands down, stepping back through the right leg into low lunge. Sink your hips, lift your chest, open up through the heart. On the inhale breath, stepping back into downward facing dog. Take a breath here. And then on the inhale breath, round your back, coming forward into plank. Hold the plank by floating up, engage through the core. Let's lower knees, chest and chin down to the mat. On the inhale breath, straighten arms, straighten legs into plank. Taking it for a second round, knees, chest and chin on the exhale. And this time release all the way down, pointing toes, open the hands out wide. Inhale, open up through the heart into wide cobra. Make sure your legs are long, your lower back is lengthening. Exhale to release all the way down, hands under shoulders, tucking those toes again. And now we're going to try and do a push-up. So engage, inhale, and exhale back, downward facing dog. Take a round of breath. On the inhale breath, take your right leg to the sky, keeping the toes pointing to the floor. Let's exhale, knee to face, and step the foot between the hands into low lunge. Open the chest, your gaze is slightly forward, and then inhale together into flat back. Hands to the shins as you lift open the chest. Exhale to forward fold. On your inhale breath, open the arms all the way up. And exhaling, hands to heart. Let's take that for a second round. Inhale, open arms. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, lifting halfway up. And exhale, stepping the left leg back into lunge. Sink your hips low, lift your chest high. On the inhale breath, take it into downward facing dog. And hold here for one breath. On your next inhale, round your back as you come forward into plank. Make your body light by engaging into the core muscles. We're going to lower knees, chest and chin on the exhale. And inhale, back into plank. Straighten arms, straighten legs. Let's take that for a second round. Lowering knees, chest and chin. And then coming all the way down, opening the hands wide onto fingertips. Inhaling, wide cobra. As you exhale, you're going to release yourself down. You can choose to move through child's pose or through plank pose into downward facing dog. And exhale back, downward facing dog. Let's take the left leg up. Keep the toes pointing at the floor so the hips are square-ish. Hugging knee to face, rounding into the back, and then landing the foot between the fingers into your low lunge. Sink your hips nice and low, lift the chest up. On the inhale, step forward, flat back, and exhale to forward fold. Circle sweep the arms out wide. Inhale. And exhaling, hands to heart. Inhale, taking the arms back up. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Stepping the right leg back into lunge. Sinking the hips low, lifting the chest high. You're going to keep the right hand to the floor, take the left arm up into easy twist. Really reach that hand up towards the sky and making a straight line from your heel to your head. Breathe into the rotation here. As you exhale, drop the hand down next to the front foot and then lower your back knee down to the mat. Let's inhale into Ardha Hanumanasana, walking the hands back. And then you can flex or point that front leg depending on where you feel is your greatest stretch. To begin, you stay in a flat back and you reach your head and your hips away from one another. As the space becomes more open, you can start to walk the fingers a little bit further forward or possibly even come down into a fold. Try to keep your hips as square as you can here. Keep the spine lengthening, the shoulder blades soft. On the inhale breath, you're going to lift, rebend, and open up the heart. So you're trying to come into a cow-like posture with the back. Slight arch into the back. Bring the fingers down next to the front foot, lift the back knee. So tuck the toe, lift the back knee. You might need to step in just a little bit in case you've gone too wide. And then inhale into high lunge. Square the hips, float yourself up. Check that your back heel is behind your middle toe. Reduce the arch to the lower back here by lifting into the front body. We'll take us into a wide pyramid pose. So you're going to exhale the hands down and straighten the front leg. So your back heel is off the floor. We're staying wide in this position. And instead of straightening the back into the fold, we're now going to lift, curl, engage the tummy, and then bring the head towards the shin while still maintaining a round back. Square the hips and push your back hip forward. You're going to release from here back into the low lunge and then inhale, flat back, stepping forward to the front on the mat. As you exhale, forward fold, hands either to the mat or holding the ankles. On the inhale breath, it's bend the knees and take the arms up into Utkatasana, making sure that your lower back is in a neutral space. Lift into lower belly and then sink into the heels. Let's inhale all the way up to stand and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, stepping your left leg back into lunge. So you're holding into the low lunge for a moment, breathing into the space as you open up through the heart. Taking this into easy twist, left hand stays down, and you open the right hand to the sky. Let's lower the hand back down to the mat and lower the back knee down as well. On the inhale breath, straightening into the front leg. Walk your hands a bit closer. Point or flex, the same variation you did on the other side. And then work on squaring the hips, squaring the spine. Reach your head forward, reach your tailbone back. Keep working into Ujjayi breath. When you have a bit more space, you can start to walk the hands a little bit further forward, or possibly come down into a fold. In this version, we're trying to maintain a straight back as best you can. Keep plugging your right hip back, your left hip forward. On the inhale, let's re-bend into that front knee. Maybe step the front foot back or the back foot in a little bit so that you can square off, and then lift your back knee off the floor. Engage into bandhas as you lift up, high lunge. Square the hip, open the heart, lengthen into the spine. Taking this into the wide pyramid pose by straightening the front leg, lowering the hands to the floor. Keep the legs wide here, and we're going to round into the back. So as you inhale, you're going to lift the rib cage, bring the chin to the chest, and then curl yourself in. Let's inhale, release back into low lunge, and then stepping forward into flat back. Exhale to forward fold. Inhale, circle sweep the arms all the way up. And then bringing the hands behind you, interlocking fingers. Let's roll the shoulder blades together, opening up through the heart. Keep the lower back into a neutral space. And then start to lift into the heels as you now bend the knees down. Work your inner thighs for stability. Keep the chest open. See if you can lift your heels a little bit more and sink the hips a little bit lower. One more breath. And then release the heels, lift the arms into chair, and straight down into forward fold. Heel toe the feet open a little bit. Toes slightly wide, hold onto elbows, and soften the knees, ragdoll. From here, let's release the hands down. Open the feet even wider and tuck your tailbone down to come to sit into Malasana. So here you're pressing your elbows against the inner thighs, you're tucking the tailbone slightly and opening up through the heart center. Turn to face you for this. Let's bring the right hand out to the floor, just lightly onto the fingertips, and left arm up. So now you press against that right arm to help the chest open to the ceiling. If you'd like to, you have the option of coming into a bind. If that's not available to you, just keep it into the wide arm. Inhale to lengthen, and then draw the hands together at the heart center again. Let's take it to the other side. So we're now going to reach the left arm out, the right arm up. You have the option of the bind here. And even in the bind, you want to try and maintain your even distance between the feet. So keep pressing the opposite foot down. And then as inhale, bringing the hands back together at the heart. From here, taking it into forward fold, hands down, hips up, heel toe the feet, hip distance wide, lengthen into the chest, and we'll come into Virabhadrasana. So you take hold of the big toes, opening up through the chest, and then as you forward fold, open the elbows out to the sides. So you're going to lift your hips and lower the crown of your head, keeping that lovely straight spine. Weight is on the front of the feet. Let's inhale, lifting halfway up. You're going to move yourself through a vinyasa of your choice, so walk, step, or hop, knees, chest, chin, cobra, or chaturanga, up dog. And meeting back into downward facing dog. Let's inhale, taking the right leg off the floor, and then open your hip to face the side. Lift onto your standing toes and point your top toes up towards the sky. Open your hip a little bit more to feel the stretch into your hip flexors. Keep the other three appendages in the same alignment as your regular down dog. As you exhale, let's square the hips, draw knee to face to knee. Inhale, float up, stay on the toes of your supporting foot, take it through again, and then this time step the foot next to the right thumb, preparing for warrior one. So the back foot comes in slightly, and we lift the arms to the sky. Whew, it is hot this morning. Let's square your hips, lift open through the heart, breathe into the space. Hold here for a few moments. On your inhale, draw the hands behind. Interlock the fingers as you open up through the chest. Lift the chin just slightly to create an open throat without compressing the back of the neck. Taking this into humble warrior by forward folding to the inside of the thigh. Square the hips and then lift your arms a little bit higher. From here, you're going to release the hands next to the front foot, rotate onto the toes of your back foot. Walk your hands further forward and then float your back leg off the mat, squaring the toes at the floor. Kick your heel back against an imaginary wall, and you can choose to keep the fingers on the floor, or maybe bring the hands onto the shin, or maybe bring the hands to the heart. Keep squaring your hips. Reach your head forward, reach your heel back. One more deep breath. And then from here, let's land back into high lunge. Drop the back heel down. Pivot open, warrior two. Heel toe the front foot in line with the arch of the back foot. Sink heavily into the hips and square the hips evenly. You can gaze at your front middle finger, taking it back into reclining warrior. And then from here, cartwheel hands down, back into lunge, and stepping into downward facing dog. You have the option of holding your down dog, dropping down into a child's pose, or moving through a vinyasa of your choice. and meeting back into down dog. You're going to take the left leg up to the sky. Open the hip this time and lift right onto the toes of your supporting foot. The chest keeps moving back towards the thighs. Lift those toes as high as you can. We're going to exhale knee to face, face to knee. Inhale to lift. Second time, knee to face, face to knee. And this time land the foot next to the left thumb. Preparing for warrior one. Back foot in, arms up. The back heel is on the mat here. So find the natural back bend without creating any tension in the lumbar. Square the hips. Really working into hip flexors here. Hold for a few breaths. Let's draw the hands behind you. Switching the grip, so a different finger on top, and then opening up the chest. Lift the hands off the body. And then exhale to forward fold into humble warrior. Make sure that you're not resting onto your front thigh. Eventually, when you're open enough, you bring the ribs to the inside of the thigh. Not all of you will get there today, that's absolutely fine. Relax your neck. Keep the shoulders moving slightly away from the ears. Let's release the hands down to the floor. Rotate onto the toes of the back foot. You can adjust your alignment if you need to. We're going to start to work this forward towards our warrior three pose. So bring your hands slightly forward. Shift onto the front foot as you float your back leg up. The lighter you can get onto your fingers, the better. So the less support the arms are taking, the more the core has to work. You can choose to keep your hands on the floor, bring them onto the shin bones, or at the heart. You're going to land us back into a high lunge, the toes down, arms up. Just going to turn around so you can still see me. And then open yourself up, Virabhadrasana 2. Adjust your alignment accordingly. And then coming into your reclining warrior. Let's cartwheel hands down to the mat, stepping back into downward facing dog. Again, you have your option here, staying in down dog, resting into child's pose, or moving through a vinyasa. From the downward facing dog, let's set the feet to touch. So bring your heels and your big toes together. Taking the right leg to the sky and open that hip to the side of the mat. You can come onto the standing toes, gazing underneath your right arm. Lift your body as high as you can. We're going to take us into the standing scorpion by bending into the top knee, lower the heel back down, and then open your hip even more, turning the gaze underneath that right arm. Stretching into those hip flexors. Bring your heel as close to your glute as you can manage. Let's inhale to extend, and then exhale to come into pigeon pose. Right knee to right wrist. Slide the back foot a little bit further back, and lift up onto the fingertips. As you exhale, we're going to lower down onto the elbows. Should you be comfortable to go further, you can stack the hands and lower to the forehead. or possibly can come all the way down to lie on your chest. You're going to hold here for a good 10 breaths. Close your eyes, internalize your sensations, and just feel into the space that you're in. Slowly start to lift yourself back up, walking onto the front of the hands, opening your chest. And then come to sit into your front hip and swing your back leg forward. You're going to bring the foot to the inner thigh, squaring the hips to face the front of your mat and bringing your toes against an imaginary wall in front of you. Let's lift up nice and tall into the Dandasana alignment, and then from here forward fold, holding to heels, ankles, calves, or even just letting the hands drop next to the leg so that you're not engaging the shoulders here, but rather using the torso muscles to extend forward. On your inhale, lifting yourself back up, you're going to turn to face the side, bringing your bent knee open. So you still have the foot to the inner thigh, but you're opening into a wider alignment. The right hand stays onto the front leg as your elbow presses slightly into the front thigh. Let's take the top arm over the ear into Prasarita Janushirsasana. So you can adjust your alignment accordingly to try and open that side torso. Remember, this is a rotating pose primarily, and only once you've got a rotated upper body can you start to think about taking it into a deeper fold. Make sure your neck is comfortable, just adjust it to feel released and relaxed in the neck. Inhale to come back up to center. Rotate yourself forward, taking the knee into the chest. Place your foot to the outer edge of your front thigh. Sit up tall, draw your thigh to your chest, draw your chest to your thigh. And at the same time, plug your hip back down into the floor. So we're stretching into this outer glute hip area. Twisting around the front of the shin. So the right elbow, the left elbow, I'm confused now, is you're going to twist towards your inner thigh. So you're facing the bent leg, and you're going to soften that shoulder behind you. Let's inhale to the center again. And then turn the foot to face back, stacking the knees one on top of the other. Soften over the front leg. This is a very intense hamstring stretch, and you probably won't get too deep into it. Just go as best you can. And then inhale to lift yourself back to center, take the knee into the chest. You're going to cross the ankles here, rolling over the front of the mat. Press into the tops of your feet and hop yourself back into a plank. Hold the plank for a moment. feeling light into the upper body, engage into the legs, and you can choose knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Coming into cobra or upward facing dog, and then back into downward facing dog. Step the feet together, big toe to big toe, heel to heel. Keep sinking the heels down towards the floor, doesn't matter if they don't touch, but keep that activation through the back of the leg. Let's inhale, taking the left leg up, open the hip, and come onto the standing toes. We're taking us into the scorpion by bending into that knee. You can sink the standing heel down, and then rotate your chest open. Straighten into the leg and draw the knee to the left wrist for pigeon pose. Slide your back foot a little bit further back, lifting open through the heart. And then coming down onto the elbows. If you're coming onto stacked hands, remember to switch the hands around so a different hand is on top. Or the final variation is to extend the arms forward. You can take a mudra here. I like to take forefinger and pinky wide, and then the thumb wide, crossing in the two middle fingers and lowering the forehead down. We hold here for a good 10 breaths, so use this time to internalize your practice. Slowly start to lift yourself back up. Sinking into your front hip and then swinging your back leg forward. Adjust your alignment so the foot can come to the inner thigh while you're still squaring the hips towards the front of your mat. Sitting into Dandasana, which is a straight spine, engaging into lumbar, lifting crown away from tailbone. And then moving yourself forward into your Janushirasana, hands to foot, ankle, calf, or just placing it either side of the front leg. Inhale to float yourself back up, bringing the knee into the chest. I lie, we're going to come up into the wide angle first. So open your knee out wide. So the legs are in a V shape, still keeping the foot to the inner thigh. Coming into the Prasarita variation. So you press your elbow into extended leg, top arm comes over, and then you rotate the chest. As the body opens, you take it into a slightly deeper fold. Let's inhale, coming back up to the center. Draw the legs in front of you, knee to chest, and then pop your foot to the outer edge of the thigh. Sit up tall. Hug your knee to your ribs, hug your ribs to your knee. See if you can lift your spine up a little bit deeper, and then we're going to twist towards your inner thigh. So you wrap your elbow around the front of your shin and pop your opposite hand behind your back. Keep lifting up and then exhale to rotate. Inhale to the center, coming into the hamstring stretch. You're going to place both knees stacking and one on top of the other. Open up through the heart, and then exhale to soften into the fold. And then inhale to lift yourself back up to center. You're going to cross the ankles in front of you, roll over onto the hands and knees, press the top of the feet into the mat, and then hop yourself back. You can take a vinyasa, or you can come into a down dog and hold there, choosing whatever works for you. Going to make your way to sit down on the mat, so you can bend your knees, lowering down and bringing the legs out in front of you. Let's take a core roll to the mat. So scoot yourself a bit forward so you have some space behind you. Kick your heels away, rounding into the back, and very, very slowly curl your body down. So you can avoid the collapse and move down with control. Coming into the half bridge pose, bending both knees, feet hip distance parallel, and hands next to the hips. You're going to curl the tailbone here by pressing the lower back flat to the mat, and then slowly lifting yourself up. Walk your shoulders underneath your back. You might want to keep the hands flat. You might want to hold lightly to the ankles, or maybe interlock the fingers behind the back. Feel as though your chest is lifting to your chin, pressing into the feet, and the inner thighs are working towards one another. Open the shoulders out, and then rolling upper, middle, lower back, tailbone is the very last thing to come down. Open the arms wide, open the feet wide, knees together, and then just shuffle your back around so that it feels spacious. We're going to hold into a restorative pose. Connect to your Ujjayi breath, belly, ribs, chest, chest, ribs, belly. Let's take that into a second round. So bringing the feet hip distance wide, hands next to your hips. And again, tuck the lower back by pressing the back flat into the mat. Curl the tailbone up. Walk the shoulders underneath the back. And you can choose one of the same variations with the arms. Should you be able to get your hands underneath the hips while the elbows are still in line with the shoulders, then you can do that. If the elbows are out here, you sort of lost the alignment. Rather interlock the fingers. But if you can keep this alignment, lifting those hips up, then go for that. Make sure the neck feels comfortable, and you're still active into the legs, active into the core. One more breath. Let's open the shoulders, rounding upper, middle, lower, glutes come down last, restorative pose. Breathing belly, ribs, chest. Exhaling chest, ribs, and belly. Coming into our last round. Now it's really important, I can't see what everyone's doing, so you need to take responsibility for your own practice here. If you are not ready to take a wheel, please don't take it. We've got lots of time where we can work together. If you are ready, you can take it, but please be mindful that you're doing it safely. So you can either take another half bridge pose, or you can take the arms up, bend the elbows to the sky as the palms come down, walk the feet in, inhale, onto the crown of the head, and then lift all the way up. Otherwise, stay with your half bridge pose. One more breath, and slowly come down. Tuck your chin to your chest, you lower onto the back of your shoulders, lift the heels and round into the back. Coming down. Let's take the knees into the chest. Bringing the feet into happy baby. And if it feels good, you can gently rock from side to side. Coming back, knees to chest. And then opening arms into a T shape, we'll lower the legs to the right. You may want to place your right hand onto the upper thigh to create a bit of weight to help stabilize and sink your legs down. Opening your chest in the opposite direction. You can close your eyes at this point. You can let go of Ujjayi breath and just come into a more natural, relaxing breath. Take it to the center and then over to the other side. Try to soften, release, surrender. No pushing, just release. Returning to the center, taking your knees into your chest one last time. We're going to set up for Shavasana now, extending one leg to the corner of the mat, the other leg to the corner of the mat. Lift your head up for a moment. Check your alignment. Hips are square, arms are square, chin slightly tucked to chest. Smoothing the skin of your face, releasing your tongue. I will let you know when it's time to come out of Shavasana. So try to let go. Just wait for the hardy dolls to pass. So just let go of any anxiety about when the time is over. I will let you know. Allow yourself to completely surrender and release. Slowly start to deepen and lengthen your breath. Running your thumb over each fingertip. Moving your toes, your ankles, your wrists. Coming into a full body stretch, drawing the legs together, reaching the arms overhead. Yawning or sighing as you extend long. Bending your knees. Rolling onto the side of your body, resting your head to your upper arm. Inhale to lift yourself back up to center. Drawing your hands together at your heart. We'll close the class by chanting Om once and Shanti 3 times. Taking a deep breath in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Raising your hands to your third eye. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Lowering your hands to your lips, to your heart, to your mat, bowing forward in recognition of your practice. Blinking eyes open, inhaling to lift. Namaste. Okay, thank you everyone.